वेलकम बैक टू पैनल डे सुपर हीरोज अहॉय। मेरा नाम है तुषार। This is panel days, and today in this small video, I'll talk about my thoughts on comic book movies. 2024, the year, I would say it'll go down. I don't know if there's worse coming, but in my recent memory, I think it's the worst year that has been for comic book movies generally. Marvel has been going down since a couple of years now. The reasons are plenty, but personally, what I feel is that joy has gone out of their films. I really don't know if it's a reflection of the world in general, because even outside of the comic book genre, movies have really become very bad, like across. I try to watch movies in all genre, horror being a favorite of mine, comedy, also like those art house movies. And across, I haven't been wowed by anything, even animation. Uh, it's average or above average to be at best. Coming back to comic book movies, this year we have had Madame Web release, Deadpool versus Wolverine, Venom 3, and in comic book TV shows, I'm not even sure if Marvel released What If season 2 or what, I'm really not sure. But I heard of Agatha all the way, and I saw Batman Cape Crusader, and I think the Penguin show has also concluded now. So this is pretty much it. We have just a month left, and I don't think there's any new films coming this year. I'm sorry if I have a limited knowledge. I've just stopped bothering about comic book movies in general. And I think next on Marvel slate is the Doomsday movies, for which they've got Russo brothers back, and it's starring RDJ as Doctor Doom. I really don't know how much to expect from those movies. It's still a couple of years before they start coming out. We have the Thunderbolts movie, which is like the B League, which is like Marvel's Suicide Squad. At least that's what it looks like. Let me talk about my issues with the movies that have I've tried to watch recently. So Madame Web was universally banned, so it doesn't make sense to talk much about it. But the bad part is not how bad the movie was. The bad part is that uh, it did have some potential, right? Like it had kind of a very different flavor. Excuse me for saying that, but I did like some parts of Madame Web. It had some kind of, it invokes some interest. Like, what are they doing with it? Like this whole cult of spiders and Amazonian forest, and like the thing about not having superpowers and this kind of girl gang. And then, when you don't have very high stakes, you can do really cool things with superhero movies. Like if you think of the first Ant-Man movie, the stakes were not high, and you got a lot of like this urban kind of comedy, right? Like the American fast food kind of subculture. So that thing was there in Madame Web, and obviously people have talked about how bad it was, and I've tried to watch it a couple of times but failed miserably. So that was Madame Web. Coming to Venom 3, I'm not too sure. I saw the trailer a few times, and these days I just try to avoid going to the theater because it's so much effort, not only in terms of your money, but also because generally the movie viewing experience has become very mediocre. I don't want to blame people, but people have really become obnoxious. Like everyone just keeps staring into their mobile phones, and like movie theaters also don't respect movies any longer. They start the movies almost like 30 minutes late, and if you're going for a Bollywood movie, like only God can save you, because the movie would be 2.5 to 3 hours long, and you're in for like 30 minutes of pre movie start time, and then some 20-30 minutes of ads during the interval. So you're talking about like wasting almost half a day if it's not good. Chances of that being is very high. So that's about the movie viewing experience. I'm not saying I'll not go for movies. If like ticket prices are low, I'll still walk into Venom 3. I saw Venom 2. Don't have very fond memories. I'm used to going for movie shows blind, and that's how I like went and enjoyed Transformers 1. But nowadays I just think 10 times before walking into any movie. Deadpool versus Wolverine is the last one I'll talk about. Uh, I didn't go for it in the theater, and I just recently saw it on Hotstar. I was enjoying few parts of it. So Deadpool, I would say the kind of humor that Deadpool does, if you don't uh, balance it with some other storytelling elements, that's all you get. Like those below the belt jokes, pun intended, and that kind of body humor. And now, if it's become like an R-rated movie, that's all you get, right? Like very obscene kind of humor in the name of like comic book comedy. And I remember a time when people used to have problem with like little double meaning jokes in those Avengers movies. But I mean, since I know this is R-rated, but still you need to have something else, right? Like you are pulling in Wolverine, one of the biggest like multiverse tricks that have been pulled in the recent past. So you're bringing in Wolverine, pitching him against Deadpool. In the last one, I think they did it with Cable, and I still recall enjoying the Deadpool 2 movie a little bit. One was okay. One was like completely bringing Deadpool, the Ryan Reynolds kind of iteration of it, and but frankly, I don't think we needed Deadpool 3. And I know many people didn't like my views when I posted it online because people were like, you didn't get it. And so, yeah, I'm fine with not getting it. Probably I'm not the right audience for it. Having been enjoyed comic book movies since beginning of MCU, and also like going back, I even enjoy like the earlier Fantastic Four movies. They're not bad as such, but I simply didn't enjoy this Deadpool Wolverine movie because all it had was these slow mo kind of cameos. I have a big issue with slow motion kind of sequences, and like I don't know, Indian films have spoiled it probably, but for me, but like people walking in slow mo and doing this slasher kind of action with some like music playing, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy just spoiled to like the 11, because a thing done once is like a fresh thing, but if you just keep repeating the same thing over and over. I mean, I enjoy Deadpool comic books. I have Deadpool manga also, and in those books or in those kind of stories, the humor element is one part of it, right? There's a story, the stakes are high, or at least there is some creativity. But in this movie, they're just relying on those cheap kind of jokes over and over again, and those kind of wink wink references, like haha, Disney bought Fox, and here look at 20th century Fox burning, and how Wolverine is so old, and hey, we don't die, like we can recover, and things like that. So it's just those things over and over again. And if it's not bad enough, you introduce like things that make no sense of at all. Like I don't know, there's a kind of a dog, and there's some very obscene sequences with that, and I just didn't get it. What was so good in Deadpool versus Wolverine? I thought it was a torture kind of experience to watch it even on OTT. So I just like slashed, pun intended again, all my hopes for like comic book movies. So I'm really very upset and disappointed, and I really have no hopes for comic book movies that are going to come. Agatha Agatha all the way, or whatever it was. Props to those who managed to watch it. Yes, there's like a handful of them. Uh, but I don't know what Marvel is going to do with its TV shows, what DC is going to do. I think the only thing I'm remotely excited about is James Gunn's Superman kind of reimagining. So that will, I think, not come in 2025, it will come in 2026. So if you know, or if you are hopeful about comic book movies, do let me know. Otherwise, this just may feel like a big long rant on comic book movies from 2024. Thank you for watching.